It is so cold here. Hi, welcome back. And I thought I would kind of compare the pros and cons of traveling with a group and traveling by yourself, specifically as pertains to missions, because you get to two different types of things when you travel with a group or by yourself. There are two different kinds of mission trips that are very common. One of them, probably that's the most common, is to go with a group of people from your church or from some other organization and go together to a specific location for a specific purpose, whether that's helping with a building project or some kind of camp. And the second type of traveling that you can do for missions is to go by yourself. But sometimes what often happens as well when you go individually is you're looking at the potential of staying at the place that you're going to long term as well. So you're doing more of an investigative type of trip when you go by yourself usually, but not always. So when you travel with a group doing missions work, you get the benefits of you have extra safety when you're in a group usually. Also, if you run out of something, like I don't know, if you didn't happen to bring enough changes of clothes, you can usually borrow a t-shirt from somebody. Or if you ran out of money and there's a specific thing you want to buy, you can usually borrow from someone. Or if you need a different kind of charger and you brought the wrong adapter, you can charge your phone or computer or whatever off of somebody else's charger. So there's a lot of benefits as far as like borrowing items and things like that in a group. The responsibility for remembering everything doesn't rely just on you. Also, you have company. You have somebody with you that understands your language and your culture. You have the advantage of when you go back home, you have a shared experience. You can kind of compare pictures and be like, oh, remember when this happened, and that's nice that you have memories made with these people. But there are also disadvantages to traveling with a group. You have to go on their schedule. You have to, usually the group trips tend to be much shorter than when you go as an individual. Expenses can be lower with the group, but they can also be higher. It depends on the situation. If the group is going to expensive places, like if we're going out to eat every day, if we're staying at a hotel, those things are going to run into some money, although it's cheaper to do those kind of things with a group than individually. But as an individual, you can choose to not eat out every meal or to stay at a place that's much cheaper. So it really depends on the situation as far as expenses go. Now, other advantages to traveling by yourself would include you can do it on your time. You get to pick when you leave and when you come back. You also are constantly surrounded by the people you went to see. And that can definitely be an advantage, because that's why you're there, right? So you don't have the distraction of going off to spend time with your group. You're forced to spend time with the people you came to visit, and that's actually a good thing in the long term. Traveling by yourself is fun, but it can be a little bit of a disadvantage. If something goes wrong, if the schedule gets messed up, if you get lost, you have to fix it. So you have to learn to be quick on your feet and figure out how to solve problems without turning to somebody to solve them for you. That's where prayer comes in a lot of times. You'll probably get to meet more strangers when you travel by yourself, because that's who you start up conversations with. There's nobody else to talk to, so you get to know the person sitting next to you on the plane, you get to know somebody else in the airport or waiting for the bus. I've done more traveling individually than I have with a group, and I have found that I like both. There are pros and cons to both situations. My advice would be to anybody who's trying to decide whether they want to go by themselves or with a group is really think about the purpose of your trip. Also think about what's most effective for whatever project you're working on. If you're going to help with a building project, going with a group is probably most helpful for the missionaries that you're visiting. This isn't all just about you. If you're doing something that's more of a one-on-one type of job, though, if you want to go as an individual, sometimes that's less of a hassle for the missionary. You need to talk to the people you're going to visit. Ask them what's most helpful. If it's most helpful for you to come with a group instead of having them get ready for one person, then come with a group. But if it's less bother for them to just have one individual there than a huge group, go by yourself. So definitely talk to the missionaries that you're going to be visiting, or the group or whatever it is that you're visiting. Consider your schedule. Consider which way is going to be cheapest for you, and decide if that's a factor. Decide what kind of work you're going to be doing. Decide if you feel comfortable traveling by yourself. Consider where you're going. Some places you really shouldn't be traveling by yourself in certain situations. Most of all, pray about it. Every missions trip should be done after a lot of prayer and just figure out what's going to work best for you. But if you wanted to know some of the differences between those two types of travel, hopefully I've been able to mention a few things that you might not have thought about before. Above all, whichever way you choose to do, have fun and be a blessing to the people you come in contact with.